Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantyne Capital Advisors. I'm Brian Ballantyne. I'm joined by Cameron Cannon at our office, and we are fortunate today to have Miss Sandra Godfrey. And welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And we were kind of chatting before we got started and already learning some cool stuff. So we hoping to learn some more. And Mr. Cameron over here is getting married. So, and we have somebody else in the office. So this is going to be a little bit of a personal consultation too.
Okay, awesome.
For those guys. So
a little therapy session.
Yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So maybe tell the community a little bit about yourself, what you do, how long you've been in the community, then we'll kind of jump into some particulars.
Well, I came to Greenville, South Carolina via Detroit, Michigan. Came down here to attend Bob Jones University and, of course, met my husband, who was born and raised here, and started a family and have brought multiple members of my family down since that point. So we're kind of transplants, but that's been, 33 years now?
I'm about to say, you sound a little like a Southerner.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I
went away.
When I go home, they're like, "You've been gone a long time."
You ask them for a coffee.
But then down here, they'll still ask. They'll still ask, "You're not from here, are you?" And I'm like, I belong. I'm South Carolinian is what I say.
And so is your husband from here? Because Godfrey's name, that's
here.
a name I've heard around here.
Yes, it is. I am. Yeah, so he is from here, which is why we ended up staying. And I was a stay-at-home mom, worked in daycare for a really long time, but in the middle of all that, raising three boys, we had a lot of sports that we participated in, which if you've ever done that with your children, there's jamborees and banquets and awards and all that kind of stuff. And I always just tended to be the person that was in charge of that. And of course, that kind of trickled down to church. So if it was somebody was getting married or a shower needed to happen, it just kind of, I was that go-to person because, parties are fun.
Yeah.
It's all happy. It's happy work. And so I've done that for years and years. And then back in 2015, when my niece decided she was going to get married, she's like, you're going to do my wedding, right, Aunt Sandra? And I'm like, I am. Huh. But that's when I just I need to make some money doing this. And we just LLC'd it. And from that point on, it's just quadrupled. So I started with an actual event and wedding planning business where it was just me, my ideas, my planning, my creativity, things to pull decorations and things together. And then I slowly started adding flowers, an actual inventory of decor, DJ services, bar services, and stuff like that. And then almost 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to pick up the venue at Falls Park, downtown Greenville, and the rest is history, really.
So today you still do both. In other words, you have your own venue, but you also do planning outside.
Yes. So we have a lot of couples that'll come in search of a venue, and there'll be something there that won't quite fit with them. It could be it's not the right size, it wasn't the right aesthetic, but they love me, and they love the idea of the planning and the service that comes with it. And so we'll go off-site with them. A lot of them will call back, and they're like, listen, we're not using the venue at Falls Park, but we're going to be at Zen, or we're going to be at the Westin Poinsett. And so we do go off-site with the big day planner, but folks who do come to the venue at Falls Park, they're allowed, they can have as much or as little of the services as they want. They can almost get an all-inclusive wedding. They just need to do cake, catering, and photography, but everything else would be covered if they chose to use Big Day Planner. But the beauty of our venue over some of the other ones is that we don't have the restriction that you have to do that.
Gotcha.
Do your own. Bring in your own vendors. Let grandma bake your cake. I mean, it's very specialized. So
That's awesome.
It is a wedding that you're creating with the people that you love and the vendors that you want, stuff like that.
I know we're going to talk about wedding, and I'm going to let Cameron take over all that here in a second. But do you do any corporate or other type stuff outside of weddings, birthday parties, anything else?
Absolutely. In fact, our Christmas, starting December 2nd all the way to the 19th, was all corporate except for a Saturday wedding.
Gotcha.
So we did all kinds of corporate parties for Christmas. We're doing galas, fantastic galas. The American Federation of Advertising is doing their awards gala. They're coming up this month. We're doing international Iranian medical students from the hospital over there is celebrating, doing an event there. So yeah, and bridal showers, baby showers. We're working on a Bluey right now. Do you know who Bluey is? I didn't know who Bluey was either, but he's apparently an Australian dog.
No
and a
clue.
family bingo, Bluey, mom, dad, So we're working on that right now. So it doesn't matter what the theme is.
As long as you like to party.
Yes. And so that creativity. And so we're building and creating because it's an Australian cartoon that has made it to the U.S., but not a lot of the products have. Okay. So you got to make things. So that's part of the creativity that we love to do. And what helps with that is because of where the venue at Falls Park is located, a lot of photographers love to come and do photo shoots.
Right.
And we'll do some of their props for them.
Cool.
So if they do 1-year-old baby shots or they're doing bridal photos, family photos, Christmas photos, they can peruse some of our decor and stuff from these theme parties and then make a great photo shoot.
Well, that's awesome. So I got to think about that. But with springtime coming up, certainly brides are kicking, and I guess grooms too, but maybe brides more. Mr. Cameron, I think, has some things he's got. Well, he says he's not doing any of the planning. So he maybe has some unique questions. And we have another gentleman in our office, Tyler, doing it. So maybe they want to pick your brain a bit for kind of things that are hot and going on.
Yeah, so we'll jump into a few of the little wedding things. So kind of like he said, I love you, babe. I tried to help out at the beginning. Apparently, my advice wasn't very well taken. I wasn't doing the best job.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm a pretty simple guy. I mean, I like nice things. That's great and dandy, but I wasn't wanting to spend $60,000 on a wedding.
Exactly.
And if you do spend that, just please don't tell me because I don't want to know. But I guess that kind of goes into some of my questions. What do you see an average wedding cost with venue? I mean, there's so much stuff. I don't even know it all. She tells me and it's just kind of goes in one ear and out the other. There's the wedding venue. You got a dress. You got flowers, decorations, photographer, DJ. I mean, all those things. What do you see, your normal clientele kind of spend?
That all-inclusive package that I was talking about, including the venue and all of the services from DJ to some minor decor, linens, china, parking even. Yeah. All of that is included in that. That starts at $13,500, which is pretty affordable.
Yeah, very.
Again, you have catering and photography and cake and then your dress. So there is some more monetary expenses that go into that. But at least you know your base.
Yeah.
And that's based on a sample package, but your bride's aesthetic could be totally different. Maybe it's not a full flower arrangement on the table. It could be some beautiful cylinders and floating candles and simple greenery, which would bring the price down. So it's very flexible, very customizable to each bride that comes in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like the thought of an all-in-one wedding, kind of like you were talking about earlier. Obviously, they're going to get their dress from somewhere,
right?
But yeah, I mean, I know for me and my fiance, we'll sit down and try to plan something. I'm like, oh my God, there's 1,000 different things you got to get. And
that's where my skill set comes in. It's those details that when we sit down and do this planning session, they're like, I didn't think about that. And it's like, there's so many little details that do come out that's what we pride ourselves in. Yeah. So having a good quality wedding planner means that those details are going to get covered.
Yeah, definitely. And this is it's kind of on the same thing, but a little different topic. What's the most expensive? It doesn't even have to be a wedding. I know you do, birthday parties and corporate events. What's the most somebody spent with you on a wedding or an event?
We did a beautiful Binat mitzvah for 2 girls that are actually from South Africa.
Okay.
And doing boarding school in London. And the COVID affected how the family was going to do their rite of passage. And they had a relative who moved here, one relative, husband and a wife team, who said, we're going to check out this venue downtown Greenville. And they loved it, sent it back to the relatives. Everybody who attended, except those 2 Greenville people, were from Europe. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was pretty fantastic. That's awesome. But that was a $40,000 event for, get this, 35 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was amazing.
That better have been some dang good
Flowers and food. Oh, yes. That was Table 301 was able to create a menu that was, I don't want to say Shabbat. I don't want to be wrong here, but an Israeli menu that hit the Jewish community. So there was some amazing Mediterranean flavors and stuff going on there, but they did not spare. And these girls were very polished 12 and 13-year-old.
Well, that's awesome.
It
Good
was really
time
fun.
there, right?
Yeah.
So that answers your question. So we do all other kinds of events too, not just
There's your bar,
weddings.
Cameron.
Yeah. Golly. No, that's awesome. And I think Wendy was telling me you guys go to church together, but she mentioned that your son is actually, a DJ with you guys.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, he started off being my beck and call boy, actually. He was my hard labor, and he's been with me when we would go off-site before we had the venue. And we started with a small little piece of equipment and a computer, and he loves music. He knows everything about music, so it just started getting bigger and bigger. And some of the events that we'd attend where he wasn't the DJ, he was watching, growing, and learning, which is how I do it.
Yeah.
And he's DJ Marvel Entertainment Group, and that comes from his stint in the Navy. So he's got some DJ Marvel tattoos, where all that comes from. He's your wedding music superhero. That's what he says.
Oh, okay.
So
got a little tagline. I like it.
No, it's been really fun watching him over the last 5 years actually create and grow his business out of this.
Yeah.
So he does that. But then I've had the pleasure of my youngest son just finished his time in the Army, and he's at USC Upstate, and he's doing marketing, sales, logistics, accounting, all that kind of stuff. And so he's taken over as my CFO. And that's really different because I've always the creative side. And that's really all I want to do. But because the business has grown so fast and so huge, it's been really great having him come on. And then my daughter-in-law is my HR. She takes care of all the staffing and everything. So it really is a family affair, which the LLC originally started off that way.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
really
neat.
cool.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a question. What are maybe the hot 2 or 3 trends that you see different now maybe than you saw a couple years ago?
Well, there are no rules in wedding etiquette anymore. That's what you got to tell brides because, it's not the 1980 wedding that your mom had. There's no receiving lines. They are. Actually, the trend is the reason why these venues started popping up is because they were doing non-traditional services. So they wanted to go to a place where you can get married outside of the church and all that kind of thing. And but we're actually seeing a swoop back towards the church. So we're getting more and more where they're getting married in a church and then they're coming to us for their reception. So, but yeah, it's a lot. And then it's colors, really, the trend. And donut walls and what are some of the other trends that they do? It just depends on each bride what they want to do. But the Pinterest is what propels all of these brides. They come in with a Pinterest
board.
Yes,
Yeah.
They come in with their Pinterest, and we take it and we help them create their entire wedding based off of all of their dreams that are in that Pinterest. So
I got a follow-up question to this. So we had an interior designer on here once, and hopefully you may not want to say because you don't hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm going to ask. So what trend's coming back that needs to go away?
if I saw mason jars and burlap, I would be like, but it's out there. It's out there with the barn. I wish it'd
If someone wants to do it, fine, but you just
and the thing is, we want to keep things tasteful and elegant, and so we'll figure out a way to how can that happen where you're getting that look, but it still looks a little bit nicer. Like we had to create a Star Wars. We've done 3 Star Wars weddings in the last year. And God bless those women, right?
Yeah.
Because they're giving in to their soulmate's desire for Star Wars. But that was our challenge, was how can I make this look like Star Wars? Everybody's going to see it. Everybody's going to appreciate it, but yet it's super elegant. And I mean, if you go on our Instagram and see photos, it's insane. It was clear, very space-like looking chairs, lights were hanging from the ceiling for your stars. You saw, more subtle details in the signage and stuff like that where you recognize that it was Star Wars font and lingos and stuff like that. And then their centerpieces were really cool. They were the clear glass, different heights of the glass floating candle, but at the bottom, it was all the actual characters. So there was sand and a character floating, so you would see Darth Maul and Princess Leia and all those lightsabers. People were delighted. It was really a lot of fun to do. So
And that's stuff that you guys made in-house, or you had to buy some of that, or a little bit
we
of both?
buy it. If we don't have it in our warehouse, we will purchase it and then we add it to it. So when it comes to showers, if it's a jungle theme, like right now we're getting ready to do the Bluey baby first birthday, but then we're doing a farm shower based off of a really high-end baby bedding for a son that's going to be born, and it's country. So, their backdrop and balloons and decorations all have to do with cowboy hats and cows and pigs. So we do what we got to do to bring that in and make it specific to those people.
So how much squabbling do you see, like fiancés and come in and, it's supposed to be all lovey-dovey, but maybe one vision's not another, or maybe it's money. Maybe one doesn't want to spend the money. And
right.
The other
And the thing about it is I tell them you have to have a conversation with your parents, your fiance. How much money is this wedding? How much are we willing? Mm-hmm. Instead of just, cha-ching and then be all upset afterwards when you realize how much it's all going to cost. So have that conversation, know what it is, what the ballpark where you're in, because that's one of the things we are able to do really well is stay within that. Give you a lot of bang for your buck. My background is actually in education. I produced the school yearbook and all the drama productions and the drama class. So, school systems don't have a whole lot of money, so you have to do a lot with little. And that is my head game when I'm still with these brides and grooms. And it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money to spend. It's still something that I'm, just kind of geared to. Well, you don't have to spend that to get this and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've only been talking for 10 minutes. I really do feel that the genuine, you're like kind of what you said about the school system. That's really cool. That's kind of your background. And I definitely think there is some wedding planners and wedding venues around here that, like, you'll go, it's 4 walls or something and kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they're wanting $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for something, not offering anything.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I've experienced. So it's definitely good to know there's still people around here that, want to give you good bang for your buck, and also, like you're saying, a good, elegant wedding.
Sure. I want to make a little profit on what I'm doing, but I don't want to gouge people. I want to give them what they need. And so that's my reputation that I've seen a lot on Facebook and stuff when people are inquiring is go to the venue at Falls Park. They'll work with you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I definitely feel that.
How has COVID changed what you do or what people are doing? I think we were talking a little bit before we started. People are now starting to do bigger weddings, but has there been some permanent changes, or what do you see different now that we didn't see a couple of years ago?
When we initially, the interesting thing was I bought the venue at Falls Park 2 weeks before COVID shut us down.
Oh, gosh.
I was a teacher at the time, so I was doing this all from, on the weekends and at nights. And I thought I was going to be able to leave education by the end of that school year. And then COVID hit, and I thought, I'm going to lose my shirt. But that's not what happened. People were like, COVID's not going to last this long. We know better now. But they had dreams, and they're like, this is not going to happen a year from now. It's not going to happen 6 months from now. And so the bookings is what kept us in business. But having to comply to some of those things with face masks, how the attention to detail when we're cleaning, those multiple touch spots, bathroom doors, when they're at the bars, different things like that. We took more attention in how we were cleaning and what we were doing each time instead of, just assuming it was done properly. So we did that. We took a lot of phone calls for people who inquire, what are you doing? Your filters, the special filters that they had, and different things like that. And we did upgrade some systems so that the air was flowing better. So we did that originally, and those were things that are super easy to keep in place. Why not? Mm-hmm. I mean, so we've kept those in place. Right now, where we're at is if somebody is still very much interested in wearing a mask or doing their thing, they come prepared for that. So we have taken the masks off the guest book table or the gift table when they sign in. You know what I'm saying? They don't need those anymore because people that are still doing that are bringing their own.
Right.
And they're keeping their distance and they're doing what they need personally for them, which was what we should have been doing all along. But other than that, it's just been a rise in the amount of people that are coming to weddings now as opposed to what it was like during the initial part of COVID.
So good follow-up question with that is we're talking about earlier before we started, you've turned one around, I think, in 2 weeks. Probably don't want to do that as a regular matter of planning. What's an ideal time for someone to reach out to you? you don't want to do it 10 years in advance, but obviously 2 months is not enough. So what would be a good time frame if someone's planning a wedding to reach out?
6 months is good only because if you want to assemble the perfect caterer, a photographer, and things like that, we have an amazing vendor resource here in the Greenville area. We are tight. We're frienders. We're not just vendors competing against each other. Actually, our mantra is community over competition. Mm-hmm. And so that means that people are guaranteed amazing weddings with great vendors because we're able to reach out to each other. When someone can't fit the bill or fill a spot or do something, they'll tell you where we can go or we'll reach out. We have resources like that. It's amazing. The My Wedding Group does that, and the Wedding Festival folks, they do that too. They have Facebook things for vendors like us. And so we're able to give people what they want, whether it's us or someone else. And so I like 6 months just to make sure that you're getting. Now, right now, we can't explain it. Nobody in the industry can explain it, but we're booking 2023, booking up 2023. I mean, wow. We are pretty full. We have few dates smattering from here to the end of the year, but they're clamoring. It's almost like a bid war. It's like what's going on in the housing market. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think? Maybe some people put it off
I don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. Originally, we knew.
Love is in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll give you 5,000 for that spot right
it's almost
there.
like that. If you give me that date and they'll tell me, will you call me if somebody else inquire? And it's like we'll get 3 and 4 inquiries, especially since now in the South, it's really the fall dates are our wedding season. I mean, obviously the spring bride, May, June, July is where the industry was created on that as being wedding season. But if you're a smart Southern girl, you're doing it in the fall. Especially if you're going to be in a barn with no air conditioning. I digress.
All right, all the northern people moving here.
I know.
Still do it then.
We do. We've had a lot, and actually, we make appointments and we book weddings with people who are in Texas and Florida. Well, they came from South Africa. I mean, they call us from everywhere, and when they can get to Greenville, they take an appointment. They book their wedding. So we're a destination. So when you're talking about a destination, people are coming here for a destination. They literally will just put their finger on the map and say, hey, let's go see what they can do.
And just here
we're
for the
quaint.
wedding.
We're gorgeous. Yes. We're 50 steps away from the Embassy Suites and the Hampton Inn and Suites. And it's not your I-95 Hampton Inn. It's a 5-star hotel. And the amenities are insane. And the beauty and everything that we're surrounded by within walking distance is so appealing to people who are coming from out of state.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I had to really ask Cameron a question. What question? Hey, now's your chance. And you're going to get trouble tonight if you don't have them all answered. What else are you supposed to find out here?
Let me see. She gave me a few. She gave me a few.
The pressure.
What? So we talked a little bit about payment in general, and a lot of people, the traditional, the bride's family pays for
mm-hmm.
it. Are you still seeing that? And if so, like you said, you work with people, but for an expensive wedding, do you guys ever offer payment plans, or are they normally putting 50% down to at least cover the date? Or I guess, how does that work? Is there any unique situations with that?
Yes, there is. And we work with all kinds. So to book the venue itself, it's a 50% deposit, and then 60 days before your event is when the rest is due.
Okay.
If you want to throw money at that, we're QuickBooks. So the bill goes into it in full, and you never have to ask us. You can literally click on that link and continue to make payments. It's the same thing with your Big Day Planner package. Once we've met, you've seen the price, you've processed it, you added, you DIY'd, you took some things out, then you'll do a 20% deposit, and then 30 days before is when everything changes. So once your guest count is in, you've added some DIY stuff, or you ran out of time and couldn't do some DIY, so you added stuff back in. The 30-day mark is where it all comes to. That's it. That's where you're at.
Yeah.
You can still add things, but you can't subtract after the 30 days. But because of QuickBooks, it's really easy for them to click on and make payments. We're not a bank or a credit card, but we do have some really faithful brides. They come in, they find out how much it is. They're 18 months out, they're a year out, and they faithfully just throw money, weird, odd amounts, but it pays for the wedding. And when they slide into their wedding week, there's no no pressure of that. Like
Awesome.
I have to owe this bill and I owe that bill. 30 days, it's done. Your wedding's done. It's ready to go.
Yeah, awesome. I like it.
So you got it all answered.
I think so. I think so.
We do offer different packages for
Okay.
you. And again, it's as much or as little of the big day planner that you want. So that's out there where you can make it your own. There's really a lot of flexibility.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm hearing. So that's good to know.
Cool. So you want to throw away our signature question at her? See how that
Yeah.
lands?
So we always have a signature question. You can kind of take it any way you want to. But what makes you tick?
What makes me tick? I am extremely driven by family. I'm kind of old right now to be
Come on now, don't lie to our audience like that.
I'm older, and if I wish I would have done this 15 years ago or even 17 years ago. But I envision building a legacy for these young people in my life that are my children, and getting married and having children of their own. That there's something that they can do. Like I've had a niece that's been working with me since she was 13. She's 18 now and is actually going to come out full time and take a gap year for school. I told you my 2 sons are there. My 3rd son is still serving in the Navy with a brand new baby, but he has dreams sometimes of coming and joining and adding, either adding venues or adding another rental company, something that everybody's going to have a job. So that's what makes me tick. But I'm alive because of God. He just takes care of me and surprises me when I wake up every day. I mean, I'm not worthy, but he's the one who gets me through.
Well, that's awesome. And congratulations on the grandbaby, right?
Yes. Betty Lou.
That's awesome. And thanks for all your children's service as well. That's great to have a family.
I'm a military family, which, by the way, if you are military, you get 10% off on your wedding package.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We support that as well. So
Yep.
great to hear that. Well, thanks for coming by. Maybe tell everyone out there, if they don't know, how they could find you, your services, your venue.
We have a big presence on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, but our business phone number is out there, 864-735-7782, or our business cell phone where you talk to me directly, and that is 864-432, it's a tongue tie, 3421.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. And I know the busy season's coming, so I'm sure you're going to be busy over the next few months and doing a lot of cool things. And Mr. Cameron might need to call you or somebody else.
He needs to. Get this done, Cameron.
Yes.
Or I can at least help you find a venue.
Yes, I appreciate it.
That's right. Well, thanks everyone for joining Connected by Community to learn about businesses, nonprofits, and interest in our community. Until we see you next time, go out and make our community great.